Today we continue Ariyavasa Sutta. First we need to recite Ariyavasa Sutta Pali. Can you follow me? Dasa yime bhikkhave Ariyavasa Yeriya Awasen Suwa Awasandiwa Awasai Sandiwa Kadame Dasa Ida Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Pinjenga Webino Hodi Chalinga Samanagato Ekareko Chatura Pasino Panona Vijega Sijam Samawaya Satisano Anawila Singapore Pasada Gaya Singaro Suimoda Chaito Suimoda Binyo. We recite together. Dasa ime bhikkhave Ariyavasa Yeriya Awasen Suwa Awasandiwa Awasai Sandiwa Kadame Dasa Ida Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Pinjenga Webino Hodi Chalinga Samanagato Ekareko Chatura Pasino Panona Vijega Sijo Samawaya Satisano Anawila Singapore Basada Gaya Singaro Suimoda Jaita Suimoda Binyo. Shadow aphorism, can you follow me? To abandon the five factors, to be fulfilled with the six factors, and one protection, to depend on the four supports, and to dispel personal truths, to be free from searching, to have pure thoughts, to calm the in and out breath, to have a well-liberated mind, a well-liberated wisdom. The fully enlightened Buddha expounded the 10 features of Ariyavasa. Number 4 features is Chitura Pasino. You need to depend on the 4 supports. 4 supports are to use one thing, to endure another, to avoid one thing, and to dispel one thing. After depending on 4 supports, it is ready to practice. And you try to observe every object manifested at the 6 doors. When you observe every phenomena occurring at the 6 doors, what you encounter, number 1 features, Pinjinga Wibino, 5 mental hindrances. And Buddha said, how has a bhikkhu practitioner abandoned 5 factors? Here, a bhikkhu practitioner has abandoned sensual desire, ill-will, sloth and trouble, restlessness and remorse, and skeptical doubt. It is in this way that a bhikkhu practitioner has abandoned 5 factors. Number one hindrance is kamachanda. If there arises kamachanda, sensual desire, practitioner have to take a quick noting, quick action to remove sensual desire. If not remove, what happens? During the time of the Buddha, there was a monk called Desa. One day, Bhikkhu Desa got an expensive robe, very good quality robe. So he loved it very much. Love for something means sensual desire, kamachanda. He have intention to wear that robe the next day. So he put that robe on the clotheslines and went to bed. That is sure. Anytime can come. On that very night, Bhikkhu Desa suddenly got sick and died. Given his moral purity, Bhikkhu Desa should have landed in a celestial realms. He should have to be reborn in the celestial realms. However, unfortunately, he was reborn as a louse on that very robe, just because of his attachment to that robe. So some people may find the story hard to believe that a human being was reborn as a louse. Let us see what Buddhism was they see this life and next life, death and rebirth. This life and next life are different only by one moment. Now here, Bhikkhu Desa, within that night, in the midnight, he died. So this life and next life are different only by one moment. At the moment of death, we call this life. At the next moment, which comes immediately, we call it the new life or next life. That is because we use the terms conventionally. So actually, the death in one life and the rebirth in another life are just the same as one moment following another moment during lifetime. According to Buddhism, death is the temporary end of a temporary phenomena. although life has come to an end, the force of karma still remains. Our namarupa, our mind and body are generated by karma, which is invisible and cannot be seen. When our present life comes to an end, we are reborn into another life because of our good karma or bad karma we performed in the past. Although the physical body comes to an end at death, the karmic force remains. After the last consciousness of this life ceases, the last consciousness is death consciousness. Another new consciousness, that is relinking consciousness, arises in the next life. So the streams of consciousness flows on continuously like a river without a break. Now you are observing that kinds of consciousness the whole day, the whole month. You may see if you very clearly capture the unit of consciousness. The streams of consciousness flowing continuously like a river without a break. Early morning you wake up seeing consciousness, then touching consciousness, walking, many touching consciousness, hearing consciousness, tasting consciousness, many consciousness. They are flowing the whole day continuously like a river without a break. There's no immediate stage between this life and next life. When we are alive, units of consciousness are constantly arising and disappearing. During the retreat, you can see very clearly. But outwardly, we cannot see anything different. When we die, the change is clearly visible. We can see that this person is no longer alive. He died. And after death, rebirth immediately follows. So the series of death and rebirth goes on and on and on until yogi attain arahantship. And when we talk about death, people want to know what it is that is reborn there. This we need to understand. Neither he nor another. Now when Bhikkhu takes up, die, And what is this that is reborn the next life? Neither he nor another. So Bhikkhu Desa, who is said to be reborn in the next life as a lost, is neither the same person that died in the previous life. Previous life he was a monk. This life he becomes a lost. So the person who is said to be reborn in the next life is neither the same person that died in the previous life, nor is he a totally new person, totally dependent on of the beings who died in the previous life. That we need to understand deeply. And Paticcasamuppada mentioned that it used neither he nor another, neither Bhikkhu Desa nor another. At the moment of rebirth, what happened is karma produce a state of mind. So what karma? The last moment, Bhikkhu Desa, unfortunately, he attached to his robe. So Kamachanda, unwholesome. The karma produce a state of mind, the mind of the lost, and some material properties, and that we call Bhikkhu Desa reborn as a loss. So we understand mind and matter that are produced, or mind and matter that arise at the moment of rebirth are not something that is carried over from the previous life. So according to the Buddha teaching, a being is not the solid form. There is no solid individual. There is no living entity. There is only the process of namarupa, psychophysical phenomena. In such a psychophysical process, which is determining nama, mind is the determining factors. So the doctrine of dependent origination says that avijja picca sankhara, depending on ignorance, there arises karma formation. As sankhara picca vijnana, depending on karma formation. Here, Bhikkhu Desa in this life, karma formation is unwholesome. Depending on karma formation, there arises rebirth consciousness. For Bhikkhu Desa, there arises rebirth consciousness as a loss. So in this way, neither physical phenomena nor the energy of physical phenomena transfer from the past life to this life. So what transfer? Only the process of mental energy keeps on going from one life to another. So we need to understand that there is no basic for the view that human is an ultimate beings, a human cannot be reborn as an inferior animal such as louse, beetle, ants, etc. Human beings can be reborn to an inferior rebirth due to his or her unwholesome mental state. That is Kamachanda in this story. So developing our mind is important. We have to develop our mind by nurturing this mind with saddha, faith, energy, virya, vigilance, mindfulness, and so on. The mental process nurtured in this way would be reformed by itself into the pure or superior mental process in terms of blissful rebirth as a human or celestial beings after death. On the other hand, the mind defiled with greed, hatred, ill will, etc., would lead to the rebirth in woeful states, such as hell, animal kingdom, and hungry ghosts, etc. Of course, this raises a question of how consciousness can reach a far distant place like heaven or hell. Consciousness can go or not. The first is that consciousness is of no solid form, and so distance makes no difference to consciousness. For example, first you think of your back part of your body, and then you think of the famous pagoda on the hill. You think two objects. You think of the back part of the body, and then you think of the famous pagoda on the hill. Which one takes you longer to think of? Your back or the pagoda? No one takes you longer than the other. You can gain mental access to either one as soon as you think of it, irrespective of distance. So Chaita, the consciousness has no barrier to any object. As for our physical body to be there, we have to take a taxi from here to the city and to the harbor, and then to take a boat from there to the shore of the city and take a taxi again, and then to go to the pagoda on the hill. So it will definitely take us very long. On our way back home, we have to take some length of time again. So this is the difference between Rupa and Nama, between body and mind. The mind can go to pagoda on the hill and come back from the pagoda freely and instantly. The mind go very fast. You can even go other country without money, travel document, passport, etc. In the same way, the consciousness can reach anywhere. Consciousness can reach hell or heaven without any delay, without any barrier. So living beings can have blissful rebirth or woeful rebirth after death. depending on their last thought, that consciousness, depending on their final thought process, on their deathbeds. If the person died with wholesome thoughts, he would be reborn in the blissful realms, human realms, celestial realms, etc. Referring to their rebirth consciousness, we say in a conventional sense that he or she becomes human beings, he or she become deities, etc. If the person gets unwholesome thoughts when dying, their death would be succeeded by inferior rebirth consciousness, referring to which we usually say that the person falls down to the hell, the person becomes a cow or dog, or that person reborn as a louse or beetle, etc. So in this story, Venerable Tessa, the monk, died with sensual desire of his robe. In ultimate sense, death means the last mind moments in one's life. So his death was immediately succeeded by relinquishing consciousness, rebirth consciousness, the birth of a loss. Referring to that, we say that monk Tessa becomes a loss. As a matter of fact, nothing transferred from Venerable Tessa to the loss except the causal relationship between Venerable Tessa attachment to his robe and the relinquishing consciousness as a loss on that very robe. So let us ponder why Bhikkhu Tessa became a loss. Was it because he was become a loss? He became a loss because he broke his moral precepts? No, the moral conduct of Venerable Tessa was totally pure. Then why he became a loss? Monk Tessa became a loss because at his last moment, he failed to be mindful of the attachment to his robe. That means he was in an ordinary house instead of in the Ariyavasa, the abode of noble ones. And to overcome the attachment, Buddha mentioned many ways. There are many ways the Buddha taught for a monk to overcome the attachment to requisites like robe, temple, etc. One of them is to reflect the correct use of a robe. Monk reciting every day, Pari Sinkayoni Sojivaran Pari Sevami, etc. That means monks and nuns have to reflect in this way. Reflecting rationally, I use this robe just for prevention from cold, for prevention from heat, for prevention from contact with flies, mosquitoes, wind, heat, and reptiles, and especially for the purpose of concealing the private parts. So the monks have to reflect rationally when he used his robe. So the monastics are instructed to reflect rationally the use of a robe, such as prevention from cold, heat, and so on. So yogi in the retreat also they can reflect in this way, not for beauty, just for covering and prevention. You wearing your clothes. Lay people normally wear clothes with the purpose to beautify their bodies. There is no correct use of a robe for the monastic and practitioner. So a monk or a nun or a practitioner is instructed to wear a robe or clothing with the purpose to protect from cold, heat, flies, mosquitoes, wind, and so on, with the purpose to cover up the private parts. Apparently, the monastics and practitioners are advised to reflect that they wear a robe inevitably to cover their bodies with it exactly like covering up an ulcer or a filthy things to prevent flies from coming around. So for the monastics and practitioner, the beauty of the clothes does not matter. And so there is no reason for them to be satisfied if the robe or clothing is beautiful. There's no reason for them to be dissatisfied with their robe is not beautiful. So the attachment to a robe or clothing can decrease to some extent, if not to absolute minimum. Another method to overcome the attachment or sensual desire is to reflect on the repulsiveness of the body and to contemplate the causality and impermanence of conditioned phenomena. And the best and simplest method you are practicing. The best and simplest methods, among others, is to develop mindfulness by noting the attachment or by noting the desire, as long as it persists. Normally, sensual desire disappear after a while when noted concurrently and carefully. Even if the desire does not disappear immediately, yogi will be safe under the protection of mindfulness in the abode of noble ones. So if Venerable Tesa had passed away with mindfulness, he could have been reborn as a deity in a blissful realm because of his virtue, sila, but not as a loss. However, unfortunately, Monk Tesa failed to be mindful of of his attachment to his robe. So in this way, he dwelt in the house of common people, which was exposed to the danger of woeful states. So immediately after his death, Monk Tesa was reborn as a loss, big loss for Monk Tesa. In this case, we need to ponder deeply that point. It was a single robe, something very humble and simple that the monk in Bhikkhu Desa story got attached to. Yet, Monk Desa got attached to the robe so strongly that he could not let go of it. As a result, Monk Desa was born as a loss on that robe. So we need to consider how many pleasurable objects we have possessed and get attached to, and whether we are sure that we can let go of the desirable object when dying moment comes, when last moment comes. If you are sure you can let go of everything, you are the winner. You may rest on your laurels. Otherwise, we must be prepared ahead of time to build the Ariyavasa, to build the abode of noble ones. So money is necessary to build a house. Just as money is necessary to build a secular house, so also to build Ariyavasa, to build the abode of noble ones, faith is necessary. You need to have the faith that the practice of Ariyavasa guarantees salvation from the woeful states and the other dangers in the realms of rebirth samsara. Only with such faith, you will make ardent effort to build Ariyavasa, the abode of noble ones. Some people say that they cannot believe anything without their own experience. But in some cases, faith follows fact. But in other cases, faith comes first, and fact is found later by experience. For instance, in order to go to a place you never been there, the place for the first time you want to go, and you need to have faith in necessary information given by someone trustworthy. Only with such factual faith, you will succeed to go there by train, by boat, or by flight as recommended. Without faith, you cannot reach there. In many cases like this, faith comes first, and facts are found later. So only when you practice with faith in advice given by someone trustworthy, you will succeed to dwell in the Ariyavasa, the abode of noble ones, and you will realize Nibbana, cessation of all suffering, and you will be liberated from all kinds of aging, sickness, etc. Otherwise, you will have to live only in an ordinary house, exposed to all kinds of danger throughout the cycle of samsara. Again, on your arrival at your destination for the first time, you need to check whether you have come to the right place. When you find yourself to be in the right destination, then you can draw a conclusion that your journey by train, your journey by boat or by flight is correct, or the travel information or the advice you have received is correct. Then the faith becomes well established based on your own experience. In the same way, first, we have to practice the mindfulness meditation by the faith in instruction given by a trustworthy teacher. You're very fortunate you have such kinds of faith. You have faith in the Buddha and teaching and teacher. And later you find yourself develop concentration and insight knowledge to a remarkable extent. Then there will arise strong faith based on your own experience that the method is true teaching, the method is authentic teaching of the Buddha. And furthermore, such faith will become unshakable faith. Unshakable when you gain a breakthrough in the Dhamma, avijjapasada, unshakable faith in the practice because you experience personally. So mindfulness meditation is the time-tested method, which is the Buddha's authentic teaching, worth recommending. Ehipasika, come and see. So for example, in the world, you would not recommend people, you would not recommend your friends to try poor food because they would blame you when they find it tasteless. On the other hand, if you recommend or feed them good food, they will surely thank you for your feeding them good food. In the same way, when people following your advice, develop mindfulness and find it beneficial, they will be much grateful to you. Indeed, the Buddha teaching is time-tested and so worth recommending. Ehipasika, come and see. That means give it a try. This fact signifies one of the well-known attributes of the Dhamma, worthy of come and see. So it is important to have a faith in the benefits of the mindfulness before you give it a try. Such faith is a prerequisite to build the Ariyavasa, noble abode, like the money necessary to build a beautiful house. Sutta, and then second chanda. It is also necessary to have strong will and aspiration to attain the Megaphala and Nibbana in this very life, in this retreat. So teacher encouraged in this very life, in this retreat, I have to gain the kinds of Dhamma, the kinds of strong will and aspiration yogi needs. So equally important is tireless and relentless effort in the practice. These are kinds of entrance fee to the abode of noble ones. So if you have sufficient faith, sufficient will and energy, saddha, chanda, and virya, you can afford to build. You can afford to dwell in the abode of noble ones. Endowed with such quality as faith, will, and effort, chanda, saddha, chanda, and virya, yogi will become mindful of every phenomena manifested at the six senses while you are engaged in daily activities. We understand you have strong faith. Every walking, every going, you are mindful. Every standing, you mindful. And every eating and other activities, you mindful all the time. Due to your faith, will, and effort. So to be mindful means to build or to stay in the abode of noble ones. In other words, every moment of mindfulness means one step closer to liberation from the danger of the woeful states. In due course of time, the development of mindfulness will lead you to progressive stages of insight knowledge, culminating in the attainment of Nibbana. So in this way, you will become one of the noble ones who possess the Ariyavasa, noble abode, and you can reside there peacefully and gracefully. And you can ask other people which kinds of house you would like to live in. Would you like to live in beautiful mansion? Would you like to live in a humble cottage? Or would you like to live in the open space as a homeless on the roadside? Very sure you would not say. Nobody would say they want to be homeless. They would not even want to live in a humble cottage. All yogis, everyone would like to dwell in a beautiful mansion because you would feel safe and elegant in this Ariyavasa. So in the same way, in the rounds of rebirth, yogi should think about what kinds of resident you want to dwell in, the noble abodes or common people's poor house. You yourself have to answer this question. Nobody else can do on your behalf. If you ask people the question, our choice is, of course, the Ariyavasa, the abode of noble ones. But we are not sure whether there is anyone who would like to live in the poor residence of common people. Some people have not very good view. Of course, the abode of noble ones is of high standard and well guarded. Fully enlightened Buddha gave this Ariyavasa Sutta simply because he wants us to build Ariyavasa. So 10 features of Ariyavasa. Among the requirements to build Ariyavasa, we have explained 1 protection, that is mindfulness, 4 supports, Chaturapasino, and sensual desire out of 5 factors to abandon. We have to continue with the remaining 4 factors to abandon. The Vyabhada, Kamachanda, finish Vyabhada, Tinamida, Odija Kukuja, and Vichikeja. There are still many more to explain, such as 6 factors to be endowed with, and so on. And there are 2 obstacles to potential attainment. Even during the lifetime of the Buddha, if conditions are not favorable, there were people who could not attain enlightenment, although they got chance to learn directly from the fully enlightened Buddha. In this regard, there are 2 obstacles to person potential attainment, even in the presence of the Buddha. Number 1, Kiriya Parihani, that is failure to do what you should do. Number 2, association with a bad companion, Papa Metata. So on one occasion, Buddha was seated amid the congregation of the Sangha monks when there came Kandaraka, a wandering ascetic, and Pesa, a lay followers. Then Kandaraka, the wandering ascetic, felt impressed and devotion aroused by the monks who were sitting very quiet and calm without making any noise and motion. It is like the whole you are meditating in this all very quiet and no sounds. And Kandaraka said, "Wonderful, how well disciplined the monks are under the guidance of the great teacher Buddha." He told the Buddha about the quietness, whereupon the Buddha said, "Kandaraka, what you said was true, Monks in this area were well disciplined. Some of them were Arahant who developed mindfulness in full 100%. In this area, some were non-returnees Anagami who developed mindfulness in 3/4, 75%. Some were once returner Sakadagami who developed mindfulness in half, 50%. Some were stream enterer Sotabana who developed mindfulness in 1/4, 25%. And some were stay ordinary but on the same path as those noble ones. Maybe mindfulness 10 or 20 or 22, 23, 24 like this. So Buddha said to Kandaraga. Kandaraga, in this Sangha of Bhikkhu, there are Bhikkhus who are Arahants with 10 shrines, who have lived a holy life. They have done what had to be done. They have laid down their burdens. They have reached a true goal. And they have destroyed the fetters of beings. And they are completely liberated through final knowledge. These are Arahants. And in the Sangha of Bhikkhus, they are Bhikkhus in higher training. They are endowed with constant virtues. They are constantly living in a virtuous life. These Sangha are insightful and constantly living an insightful life. Buddha said to Kandaraga, ascetic. When people develop mindfulness by doing no action without mindfulness, they naturally become quiet and calm. They don't make any move without mindfulness, and so their daily activities like bending, stretching their limbs get slowed down in nature. That is why Sangha or yogis become quiet, gentle, and calm. And when they are willing to speak, they need to reflect it is suitable or not, beneficial or not. Then they first note intention to speak, Noting in this way, the willingness itself may disappear if there is nothing important. So the monks or the yogis only speak something necessary, but not anything unnecessary. In this way, the monks or yogis become quiet, they are gentle and calm. And Buddha said that monks in his congregation were enlightened ones and at least meditators dedicated to mindfulness. Then layman Besa, the elephant driver son, said to Buddha, he said, Bande, it is very good of you to teach people to be upright and honest. Animals are not deceptive and cunning. Animals are artless. They are so open that without thinking twice. Animals urinate and defecate anywhere, anytime they want. They have no intention to cheat their master. If they were forced to do something against their will, they make a mess of it. Unlike animals, men are crafty and hypocritical. Men do one thing in public, but another in private. Men pretend to do something beneficial to others in the present, but often do harmful in their absence. And Pesa, the layman said, Bande, we cannot help admiring you for your wonderful teaching, because you have reformed the minds of such cunning people. I also practice mindfulness occasionally, although I'm a lay person. Very true, mindfulness helps improve our moral character. Men not aware of their immoral thoughts are more likely to become dishonest and deceptive. The more mindful you are of your consciousness, of your thoughts, the more honest you will become indeed. Then Buddha was about to give a talk on the 4 types of personality, but Pesa, the elephant driver's son, took leave of the Buddha. He said to Buddha, Bande, I have some business to attend to. Then he left. So Buddha let Pesa leave because it would not much benefit him to listen to the sermon half-heartedly. After his departure, after the departure of the layman Pesa, Buddha told the Sangha that Pesa was an intelligent man and that he could attain the first stage of enlightenment, Sotapaddi Mega, if he listened to the sermon in full. In this connection, the commentary raised the question of whether a person with the potential for enlightenment could possibly fail to attain it, even in the presence of the Buddha. Commentary insists on the possibility and mention 2 reasons why the person can miss the chance for attainment. So remember, number 1 is failure to do what you should do. Number 2, association with bad companion. Now, no doubt, there is Kalyanamita, true teaching, true teacher, and true Buddha. You associate, and you have to do what you should do. So 2 obstacles you need to overcome. So we will continue next time. We have to stop our discourse for today by practicing Vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the 6 senses continuously and meticulously. May you dwell the Ariyavasa, the noble abode. May you dwell in this Ariyavasa gracefully and peacefully. May you be liberated from all suffering. May you realize the real peace in the very near future. So, we have to recite Mahasatipatthana Uddesa Pali. Ekayano ayam bhikkhave Mego Satanam Visuddhiya Sogabari Devanam Samadegamaya Dukkha Domanasanam Atingamaya Nyayasa digamaya nivanasa sajikiriyaya yadidam ra dipatana Dhamme Chattaro Dabhikkhave Bhikkhu Kaye Kayanubasi Viharati Atapi Sambhajano Satima Vineya Loke Abhija Domanasam Vedanasu Vedananubasi Viharati Adabi Sambhajano Satima Vineya Loke Avijja Domanasam Chaite Chaitanubasi Viharati Adapi Sambhajano Satima Vineya Loke Avijja Domanasam Dhammesu Dhammanubasi Viharati Adapi Sambhajano Satima Vineya Loke Avijja Domanasam. English translation. This is the only way, bhikkhus, for the purifications of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, the noble path, for the realizations of nirvana, namely the four foundations of mindfulness. Here in this teaching, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu does contemplating the body in the body, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, removing desire and discontent in the world. Twice contemplating the consciousness, the feeling, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, removing desire and discontent in the world. Contemplating the consciousness in the consciousness, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, desire and discontent in the world. Dhamma in the Dhammas, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, removing desire and discontent in the world. Honoring and sharing merits. Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiya Bodham Bujemi Imaya Patipatiya Dhamma Mujemi Imaya Dhammani Dhamma Patipatiya Sangham Bujemi Imaya Dhammani Dhamma Patipatiya Adabhidara Ujemi Imaya Dhammani Dhamma Patipatiya Acariye Ujemi Adaimaya Patibadaya Jaramaranama Parimojaisami Idame Punyam Asavakaya Vaham Odu Idame Silam Megapalanyana Vachayodu Imano Punyavagam Savasadanam Dimam Sabe Sadam Sukita Ondu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu